And then quiet on the set.
Da-da-da-da.
And welcome to another episode of Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. I'm Tom Mangelli. This is Doug Max. Say hi, Doug.
Tom, start over again with a little more enthusiasm. Yeah, we're
Hey.
recording. It's okay. Just
All right.
more dynamic. Come on, like bump it up. Give me an 11.
Tom can't
go.
count that high.
Go.
And welcome to another episode of Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. I'm Tom Mangelli. This is my co-host, Doug Max. Say hi, Doug.
Hi, Doug. Hi, Tom. And hi to our
what?
special guest tonight, Mike Bonner.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Yay.
hi, Mike.
Comedian extraordinaire and juggler. That's all I know about him for now. Until we learn more.
So Mike, how the hell are you? It's been a while.
I'm doing good. Just, getting all the stuff done I put up for 12 years doing comedy. My house is falling apart. So now I'm just like catching up on stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
And everything done. That's it. Harassing grandkids, things like that. So
How many grandkids you have now?
6 now.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
I had 2. Now I got 6.
Which is odd because you have no children.
I know. Never do ancestry.com, I'm telling you.
Wow, Mike,
Mike,
how many kids do you have that you have 6 grandkids?
Great. And they each have a boy and a girl. So
Okay,
it
wow.
really works out. It's really good.
now you have officers in the family, is that correct?
Yes. One son's in Homeland Security. He used to be at ICE and he switched over to Homeland Security. And the other's a state trooper. He's a detective in the state troopers. So
Now, when he worked with ICE, did he ever have a toothache that made it bad?
no.
What?
Just some
I'm
people
sorry.
hollering at him. He's a good guy. Yeah, but he killed 3 people in El Salvador. He's a good guy. Don't take him away.
Tom
So
killed 3 people. It was an accident at back in the day when they had the buffet, the salad bars.
Right.
Horrible. Tom wanted the romaine. No, we're let us get in front of you. No, I have to have it all. 3 people were killed. It's
and don't forget the Macarena incident of '89.
I think of
Anyway.
that macaroon incident, but that's the Jewish version
That's
of it.
another thing.
Yes. Before we get into the show, I want to bring up our sponsor, the wonderful Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions. Let's hear it for Jack.
Yes, Jack.
Yes, if you want to put together a comedy show for any venue, if it's a private party, if it's a showcase in a restaurant, a fundraiser, you want to contact Jack at jirwinproductions.com. Right, Doug?
Yes, Tom.
I left a lot for you to say, didn't I?
Well, Mike, Tom is referring to the fact that maybe this isn't right of me to do, but I've been trying to promote many comedians have talents besides being comedians. Some of them are actually much more talented at those other things than anyway. So like me, for instance, I'm OCD. I don't care if people hire me to do 15 minutes of comedy. I'll do 15 minutes of cleaning.
Too.
And Jack, and I bet out of the Jack knows everyone seemingly.
Oh, Jack's like Annette Georges. He knows every comic and everything. I've never met him, but I've talked to him back and forth on, chit-chatting, things like that. And he's a grandpa too, so we got a lot in common.
Right.
No, great guy.
Yeah, Annette Georgia, how is she? I haven't seen her in a long time.
Who's that? Patty?
Annette.
Oh, Annette? Annette's still good. I just talked to her a couple days ago. She wanted to know when the station was going to open back up.
And when is that?
When it's full blown open, because he said I can't open up now and then Phil Murphy closed me down next week. He says I'm ordering food, alcohol. I can't order my food and then throw it all out next week, So
yeah.
Full blown open. So
did you give him my number?
Yes.
Okay.
Full delivery. All expired food goes to Tom Mangelli.
I was telling Tom that when I met Patty the first time, it was like she and I had exact opposite lives. I was from Summit and I went to school in St. Louis and lived there for 15 years. And she had the reverse life, right? Wasn't she from St. Louis and lived in Summit for a time?
She lived in Summit and she moved to Berkeley Heights. Pinky's out, everybody.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
She was in St. Louis too, wasn't she?
no, no.
And I must have been drinking that time.
Were you in St. Louis? You didn't tell me. So
Yes. She was. Ask her. She was in St.
I
Louis.
just did. She swears she wasn't there. It wasn't her.
Okay. Well, I also was in Summit and Berkeley Heights. So maybe that's why.
Summit, New Jersey. Yes.
I lived in
started out
Summit
there and
and
ended up
Berkeley
Berkeley Heights.
So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know your background was in football. Is that correct?
Yeah, I played in the semi-pro leagues for like 8 years. I played since I was 10 years old. I started never really started out like that. I just every step of the way I thought it would end after high school. I thought that was it. And then I got letters from colleges. So I went to college and I got a whole disillusioned by the college thing because it's like a full-time job when you do college football. It's like a deal with the devil. And I got disillusioned by the whole thing and quit college. And then I took a motorcycle ride and went up the Parkway and made a left and kept going. I ended up this town owning in New York. And I was walking around, I saw this sign, tryouts for a semi-pro team. I said, what the hell? So I gave it a shot. And then second year, everything kind of took off. So I was playing with pros, ex-pros, things like that.
I think that should be the name of your autobiography. I took a shot.
I took a shot.
Yeah, which brings me to the question. I always wondered, how did you get into comedy?
Well, I was always funny. Taking after my brother Freddie, who got killed in Vietnam. He was always a funny guy, always constantly funny, happy, stuff like that. So I try to take after him. And because of that, you grow up making light of everything. When you have a tragic thing like that happen.
Right.
So I was always a funny guy. And then when I was in my 30s with a few kids, my father-in-law said, you got to do stand-up comedy. I said, Dad, I got 3 kids. I can't be leaving 6 o'clock at night, come home 3 o'clock in the morning every day, I don't want my kids to be somebody else's problem, So years and years later, a lifetime later, I'd never set foot in a comedy club in my life. And we got a postcard from Stress Factory. Oh, we're giving comedy lessons. I said, I made fun of it. I said, oh, look, they're giving comedy lessons. And Patty goes, go. I said, what? Goes, no, go. I said, oh, no, I'm too old for that. She goes, no, you're not. You're funny. Go. Just go. So I went, and Joe Matarese was the instructor. And, I hung out with him for about a year and things kind of just like, I wanted to do it all my life. And everybody's saying, oh, go do comedy. And it's like, you don't know how hard this is. This isn't just get up there and blah, blah, blah. Oh, you make it seem like that when you're good.
Right.
But,
wait, what?
What's that?
It's
blah, blah, blah.
It's not about what, Mike?
Blah, blah, blah. You just don't get up there and go blah, blah, blah.
Did Tom did Tom tell you my plan for my next set?
That was your
Blah, blah, blah,
Mel
blah.
routine, blah, blah, blah.
COVID, blah, 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 blah.
But
Now,
anyway, so it took off from there. And then, just, how you go around begging for gigs and trying, you got to get on stage.
Right.
So Patty, took it, says, we got to go find a place, where we can host, backtrack a little bit. Well, another one of my comedy mentors, Bobby Gonzo, got me into hosting because we were doing a show once. And I said, who's hosting? He goes, you are. I go, me? No. And then he kind of walked me through it. And I did.
Wow. When was that?
Here.
Wait, how long ago was that? If you
That'd
had to
be
guess.
about 9 years ago.
How long?
9-10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. And
Mike, when I started comedy and I was on shows that you were hosting, I'd assumed you'd been doing it for like 10 years.
Yeah, I'm on year like 12 now.
So you held off. You held off for a long time, I guess.
Well, I just thought that ship had sailed, and then like Al Martin said, funny's funny. It doesn't matter how old you are. And that kind of stuck with me,
Yeah.
Al Martin owns all the comedy clubs in New York. So,
well, the three of us have that in common. We're all bucket list comics.
right.
I didn't start till I was 50.
And isn't it the greatest thing giving you like fulfillment? Yes, I'm glad I'm out here. Right. Exactly.
Yep.
So Mike, you can stop me if you want, but I want to circle back. You said your brother was killed in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So I'm very sorry to hear that. The year they stopped the draft, but they still had the lottery.
Yeah, I have
74. My number was 7. So I was like that close to going to Vietnam. I was so, I don't know how you felt about the war, but I learned all the protest songs, like, so many.
Oh yeah, Country Joe and the Fish and all that stuff.
And I felt so bad. All the soldiers that came home, they were all looked at as pariah.
Well,
you know, and
well,
it was really totally unfair. But anyway, horrible. I'm
yeah, I'm a
sorry.
Gold Star brother, so I
And
get stories.
I lost my own brother too. I was 10, he was 8 years old. So I don't know what years those were, but anyway, my sympathies and my empathy.
No, thank you. But he's my older brother. He's kind of my idol. You know, I was 13. He was 22 when he was killed. So, you know, my dad was in the Navy till I was like 9. So he kind of like took me under his wing because I was like a basket case kid. So he didn't want a wimpy brother. So
What
he's
did
trying to
you do?
yeah, I still am.
What did
Yeah. So, it kind of sets the wheels in motion. Something like that happens. You know, every comic has a bad story that sets this off. You know,
Yeah.
when we go to the station and when the comics aren't on, we sit in that table outside. We all talk, and you hear the stories, though, and it eventually comes out as to why they started.
Yeah.
You know, something happened, and they don't even say this is why I started. It's just like, this happened to them, and this is what.
but they'll make you listen. I'll tell you a comedian, I will not say his name, who I'm close enough with. He knows my father passed away, 6 months ago. So I'm talking to him earlier on today. He goes, I forget, we get into a lull. We were fighting about politics. There's a lull in the conversation and goes, how's your dad?
No change.
I'll slice you. What?
Paused. I said he's resting comfortably. I thought it was a decent response.
And your father laughed.
Now I had a similar situation with myself, and my older sister died at 5.5 of leukemia, and my mother, both my parents did not take it well, obviously,
No.
and my mother fell into a deep depression that I spent my entire childhood trying to cheer her up.
Say,
and it just became ingrained in my personality. It's like that was my whole self-image was making people laugh.
right, because nothing more horrible can happen to a parent than death of a child. Nothing.
And I lived with it. I lived with it with my parents going through it too. So it's
right, and they all just
a different experience, but
it blows the party, the family apart. It's just. But anyway,
Yep.
This is why.
Anyway, the end of that,
Sure.
and a warning to parents, because as a result, like when I would go camping with my two sons, with the neighborhood, parents or dads, it was always dads and the kids. I was known as safety man because I was so obsessed about, not wanting anything to happen to my guys.
Right. It affects you different ways. It's just what was I going to say? I was listening to your story. I was like, oh my God, Doug.
Mike, I've always viewed my role in comedy as depressing people to make it easier on the comics. I'm a team player. What position did you play in football, by the way?
A safety and kick returner, return punts and kickoffs. So
what is a safety, please? I'm sorry.
He stands way in the back on defense, and when everybody gets tackled, he runs up and jumps on top of the pile.
Now, I never played football. My mother didn't let me.
Mike, no, look for the pile. Forget the ball. Look for the pile.
Oh, I'd be clean the whole game. Why are you so clean? I'm not getting dirty. What are you, crazy?
No, I was always big compared to my fellow students growing up. And the football coach wanted me desperately to join the football team, but my mother wouldn't have it. She was overprotective after my sister died, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, I wasn't into football. I was into meatball. All right. But I could have turned pro.
Yeah. Giving Joey Chestnut a run for his money at the hot dog contest.
Yes.
But yeah, so what happened, it affects you like it blows the family apart. Like my brother would always don't hang out with that kid. He was always watching out for me. You don't hang out with that kid. And when he died, everybody just came together and blew the family apart. And I was kind of off on my own at 13, and that's not good. 13-year-olds make my own decisions. I had no rules, no anything, hanging out with, we were low income neighborhood, middle class, blue collar. Eventually, you start dabbling in drugs and things like that and all kinds of bad things, doing bad stuff. And, football would pull me back in every year because you got to start getting in shape like March. Right. And the season starts June, July. So you got to start getting in shape. So every year, it would pull me back in, and so that was
And
like,
you had a good coach that made you love the sport and want to keep on doing
well, it's
it.
my brother. He's always playing football. He was supposed to play football at Wagner when he got back, not Wagner, Hofstra, when he got back from Vietnam. He talked to the coach. He had done 2 years of college, but ran out of money. And my father wouldn't co-sign his loan because my father would be a man, and he ended up joining the army to get the student loan, all that stuff. And then the rest is history. Never made it back. So he ingrained football in me. It was always football, football, football. And, you got me into Pop Warner and all stuff like that. And it just kind of took off. I was always undersized, but,
Now,
it kind of worked out.
didn't you also coach?
Oh, yeah. I coached, well, geez, I coached for about 20 years, Little League, things like that. I coached in semi-pros for a little bit, a year.
Wow.
It's not paid, it's not paid or anything like that, but.
So I want to ask you, I don't know how, I think I'm as old as you are, Mike.
I'm 60.
Yeah, I'm 62.
Yeah.
So if you were pro football back in the day, do you know Willie Wilson?
Yeah, Willie Wilson. We made fun of him all the time on the team because we had guys from Summit there. Because Willie Wilson played baseball, and some of the guys knew him, went to high school with him, and they would bust his chops because he was good in high school because he was hyper fast. And in high school, it's all about
I went to high school with him. I went to junior high and high school with him. That's why I went.
And the guys on the team, you'd mention his name, and they would rag so bad. I played for 4 years upstate New York in the Empire Football League with the Oneonta Indians. Pronounce that one. And then when I moved back home, I started playing with the Jersey Oaks in Plainfield, and a lot of guys were from Summit, Plainfield, in the area, and they knew Willie Wilson. You bring up his name, and they would just like riot on him.
So for those listeners who don't know, Willie was like the star of the Summit football, basketball, and baseball team. He ended up going on to play for the Kansas City Royals center field.
Yeah, best Willie Wilson.
Incredible. Anyway, I always tell the story it was in high school. I raced, in phys ed. I beat Willie Wilson in a 50-yard dash. Unfortunately, it was a 100-yard dash was the race, but I had him for the first. But my favorite story of Willie Wilson. So Willie is I'm like, what do I say, 5'7" when it's humid. Willie is 6'3", 6'4", incredible athlete. We're playing flag football in junior high, and I'm trying to get Willie's flag and I was always the guy with the ball running because I was faster and nimble. But I was trying to get the flag off of Willie. He picked me up, held me under his arm, and ran over end zone and scored with holding me.
That's hysterical.
Even back then, I was like 13 and an old Jewish man. Even then.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
I remember playing touch football with the kids in the neighborhood. And again, I was like 3-4 times the size of everybody else my age. And I remember like having the football and Jeff Elkin hanging onto my one leg, Andy Siegel on the other leg, and I continued on down the court, the field to get a touchdown without dragging them.
Yeah. So anyway, it all worked. I had a couple pro tryouts, things like that, but it didn't work out. You gotta be happy where you are. So
I gotta tell you, I was never. I played. I think I played football one or 2 years with full gear on.
Contact football, yeah.
But I remember my father taking me to a Jets game with his brother. I think it was his brother. It was freezing cold, and I know it was the Jets. Anyway, it was freezing cold. I had my first cup of coffee to warm up. No cream, no sugar. It was disgusting. It was probably disgusting coffee to begin with, and it was disgusting. And then the game was delayed because Sherman Plunkett, who was, I guess, some linesman on the Jets, got clipped and swallowed his tongue. And you're seeing this. He was as big as you, Tom, just kicking his feet on anyway, that it left a you know, it left an image in my head. Why are people doing this?
It's well, I don't think, I don't think God intended for us to play football. I don't think he intended for people to get two ends of 100 yards apart and run into each other. The angels probably say, "Hey, God, did you see what they're doing down there? They're running
Why-
into each other. What the hell?"
Why are sports so popular?
It's a competition. That's what it is. It's the adrenaline rush. It's and if you want rough and tumble, football's the game. And and I was always like I said, a little small, but I was fast, smart, and that never really bothered me mixing it up. So,
Now,
and
back in the 30s and 40s, prize
all like
fighting,
that.
boxing.
I was a lineman back in 30s and 40s. Yeah.
Uh,
But if we could place it
boxing
now-
was the big thing.
Oh yeah, back then. Yeah, yeah. But
So I've always been of the opinion that our society would be stronger and we'd be more advanced and peaceful if our competitions were, more like a Jeopardy every day.
right, yeah, but that won't happen.
A cooking bowl.
Yeah, that goes far. But
I have one in my cabinet, a cooking bowl.
A big one.
But so anyway, backing up. Anyway, so I went to New York and I played there for a few years, and then I got named to Pro Football Weekly All-America team, and then had some pro teams call, give me tryouts. The CFL gave me a tryout. I made it down. CFL was the Canadian Football League was my best chance. I made it down to like the last half dozen guys and got cut, and then tore my knees out the next year, and that was the end of that. So
Ouch.
good old AstroTurf. So but yeah, it was fun while it lasted, and then I got into the Hall of Fame in 2006. So that was very special.
And why was that?
Why was that? What? Why did I get elected?
Why were you in the Hall of Fame? What were
I
your
sold most cookies.
notable accomplishments?
I sold
And I bought them all.
No, well, it's just, I guess all the stats I put up over the years, I was in a couple of different leagues, made the all-star teams in both leagues, all-American team. You put everything together that you've done. I hold like 9 records, semi-pro records, interceptions, fumbles, blah, 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 all kinds of crap. So, and then a representative from my league submitted my name for the Hall of Fame, and I got in first ballot, which was weird also. So,
Wow.
and yeah, it's pretty. When they said they're nominating me, my mother-in-law goes, "Yeah, right." I said, "Yeah, I know." I said that can be far-fetched. And I got a phone call on Super Bowl Sunday that I'm in, and kind of got floored with that. So
Nice.
I want to get all the details. I got interceptions and fumbles. I want to get the other 7. So
well, you're looking
Tom,
up my.
I want Tom to write a letter to the Football Hall of Fame for me.
Okay. So yeah, but it is the whole thing. I play with a bunch of great players, and that's the whole. I had a great supporting cast, and I wouldn't call them supporting cast. They're all stars in their own rights. Some guys
You
are
need everybody on the team.
Well, yeah. So that's it. Wasn't for that, of course, not them, but like I said, my interception records. Well, that came because my defensive ends gave the quarterback maybe 2.5 seconds to throw the ball. And things like that. Plus, it's so small, they couldn't see me out there half the time. I think when everybody stood up, they lost me.
He's like, "Oh, is Mike wearing the Mylar uniform again?"
Well, the uniform was grass color. I just blend in. But yeah, so like a lot of good stuff happened to me. It's just it wasn't planned, and it just came out. So it was good.
Nice.
My date with infamy. Okay, 2006 Hall of Fame, American Football Association. Look it up. I got a shitload of records in there. Everyone wants to look up records and do
Wow.
like that. So.
Wow, we're honored. I had
Impressive.
no idea, Mike.
Very impressive.
I got a ring. I have no knees and I can't keep my thoughts straight, but I have a ring. I got a ring.
Hey, you can't have everything.
So when did you learn to juggle?
Yeah, that was a later thing. That happened during Superstorm Sandy, believe it or not.
Really?
I'm down in Englishtown, the Englishtown auction, and the guy has a couple juggling clubs, pro ones sitting there on the ground. I said, "How much you want for them?" He says, "Well, if you can find a third one, a buck a piece." So I dig through the pile and I find the third one. So I bring them home and I said, "One day I'll do this." And then like the next week, Superstorm Sandy hits. Boom, wipes out electricity. Boom, boom, boom. Nothing to do. So I start juggling. I start playing with these things, hit myself in the face and the nuts and all this stuff with these things. Black eyes. My wife, Patty, would be like, "You're juggling again?" Because I got a black eye. I got a big
Oh my
bruise on the
God.
side
I
of my
learned,
face.
you learn with bean bags first, don't you? That's what I did.
Well, tennis balls. I knew how to juggle with tennis balls since I was a teenager, but clubs is a whole different story.
Yeah.
And then Patty said, too bad you can't talk while you're doing that. So then I started talking like that. And they said, too bad you can't do fire. So then I got fired.
Jesus.
I started doing fire. So she's like, it's like, well, you're the one opening your big mouth. You're the one said, too bad you can't juggle fire.
I remember when Kevin Lee was performing at the Comedy Cove, and I remember the owner saying this guy, she wasn't familiar with him, wanted to know if it was okay to do fire. And at the Cove, there's absolutely
No
stage.
ceiling.
You've got 6 by 6 feet, and then it's people, burning people, and like no. But
No,
he turned out to be very competent, so I would have trusted him if he was comfortable with it. I would have trusted him to do it, but I don't own the building, so.
No, well, you could tone down the flames, but it's just it's weird. It's because like I said, when you have fire, when you start, they have little flame balls that shoot off that screw you up, So anyway, so that's it. So I'm just trying to do that now. I'm messing with puppets and things like that. So
Yeah, talk about your puppets.
my puppets. So I got my for Christmas. I got my grandson a ventriloquist puppet.
Uh-huh.
A real, like a Johnny McCarthy puppy. And, I said, what the hell, I grabbed my, I got one too. And I sat around for a couple months and I started messing with it. Cause I had animals all my life and I always gave them voices. The animals always had voices and some sort of voice, whether it was a Mexican voice or a dumb guy voice or a boxer voice or something. I always gave so that, I was kind of used to doing that. So, then I got the puppet and it was an old guy puppet. And I said, holy crap, it looks like me. It's bald. So I got that and I got a couple more I'm working with. So I'm dabbling into that,
So Mike, would it offend you if we wanted to talk to the puppet a little bit? Find out what kind of owner you are?
Which puppet you want to talk to? I have Smokey the Dragon and I got me. And then I have a new guy is called Earl E. Chickachat. So whoever you want to talk to,
Tom.
I have Furry Fern, but he doesn't talk. He just gives motions.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw you with the Mike Bonner doll puppet. That was hysterical. I laughed just
bring
thinking
him
about
out, Tom.
Hold
bring
on
him
a
out,
second.
Mike.
Give me 1 second.
How come half the people I know have puppets?
Because you only know 4 people?
Oh, that's true. Oh man.
We've been talking. We have to book Iggy Aronson, who is a really well-known New Jersey comedy fan who, how do I put it? He happens to be a puppet and he travels around with the 6 foot something tall puppet owner, who's really a horrible, miserable human being. We love him, but he doesn't know we abide him because of the spirit, the humorous and zestful spirit of his puppet Iggy.
Right. And he became
Iggy's Curiosity Shop.
I was just gonna say, he became so popular locally that they named their Curiosity Shop after him. Iggy's Curiosity Shop. That's in Midland Park, New Jersey.
Call and tell him you want to talk to Iggy.
So now, Doug, I have some random questions that I prepared for our guest today.
Yes, Mike. I know you did, Tom. I'm hoping we'll have a conversation and not have to use any of them, but
I narrowed them down to 3.
Okay.
And the least offensive ones. Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, shoot away.
Hey,
shoot away, Tom.
Hey, Mike.
Ask me anything.
So Mike, I have some random questions. You mind if we always do a segment called random questions?
Shoot.
Okay, number 1. If you can spend a whole day with anyone, living or dead, why do you still eat peas with a knife?
Because I like to live dangerously.
Good answer. Good answer. Second question. Of all the farm animals you've cadoodled, what radio station plays the greatest hits?
101.5 on the weekends. Joe
Yay.
Henry.
Big Joe Henry. Thank
Big
you.
Joe Henry.
Good answer. I met him, by the way. We have a lot of the same fat jokes. And question number 3, if you could live the rest of your life anywhere in the world, what would you name your penis?
That's a tough one.
That's what she said.
Yeah, so it's that tough one. That I gave you the name right there. Tough one.
You can plead the 5th.
Oh, that's a tough one. The tough one.
Tough one. All right, I like it. So you know, Mike, you're right. This puppet looks a lot like you.
He does.
Oh, hold on a second. See,
I love it.
I wasn't kidding.
So wait, do something. Come in so we can see both of you, and let's see if we can figure out who is who.
Can't appear at the same time. Hold
That's
on.
true. It ruins the illusion.
And don't forget, part of this is the audio audience, so they wouldn't know.
Right, that's true.
They don't know that you're. Where are you? In Pablo San Lucas. Tom?
Oh,
Now
Who
you
do
know
we-
him, don't you?
who do
Who's
we
this
have
guy?
here?
Oh my God!
This is Earl E. Chickachat.
Hey Earl.
He's my new buddy.
How you doing, Earl?
Learn how to
Do we
be a
address him as
ventriloquist.
Earl or Earl T or Mr. Chitterchat? What?
No, it's Earl E. Chickachat.
Ah,
Chick
You have to-
chat.
You have to excuse Doug. He's deaf in one ear.
and I hear
Been here on the other.
voices in the other.
So what do you want to talk about? Stupid here. Stupid here is trying to learn ventriloquism. He's
Is
doing
that,
pretty good.
yeah?
He sucks. But no, he's doing good. All right. I think he's doing all good. Just yeah.
Well, I think he should wear a mask and pretend he's being cautious.
Doug Carr said that, didn't he? Doug Carr said that to us. He said, you should wear a mask to hide that ugly face, first of all, and then you could,
Hey,
now
Earl.
you can move my lips.
Earl, Mike is our guest on our show,
Okay, Doug.
and we like to treat our guests like they're in our home and somewhat respectfully, and we would appreciate it if you would do the same. Earl, can I ask you, what is your favorite? What's the best thing that Mike does for you as your friend?
Take his damn ham down my back. That feels real creepy when he does that. Okay, I'm gonna go, Doug. I'll
All
see you
right.
later. See you later, stupid. All right, so here I am.
I thought he was talking to me when he said stupid.
Be amazed how many turn around when somebody says, "Hey, stupid."
Do you ever pick a voice that you realize too late it's hard to keep doing for a while without your throat getting sore? Because you always use different muscles.
I've only just started the ventriloquism part. I've only just started it. I'd just maybe a few weeks,
Wow.
and not constant. So it's kind of weird. I should wear them when I do it, make it a lot easier.
You
But
can
Are you
do a
gonna
lot
are you gonna
better
get
with
a
the-
little? I'm sorry. Are you gonna get a little pink tutu for your Mike doll?
oh, they have all that.
Anyway,
They have all the
Mike,
accessories.
when you're on a Zoom show and you want to do ventriloquism, just get a remote microphone, and
Right?
get
There you
off
go.
get off the screen and have the puppet up there. And
But it's fun,
So-
and I got my grandkids, some hand puppets like that, so they're having fun with
That's
it.
cute.
So
Yeah.
it's something new.
the only voice I do is John Hollywood, and I do it really well. But my throat stays
Hurts your
sore
throat,
for a
right.
day.
Yeah, when I practice for a while, it's like a comedy. You got to build up your voice, right? It's
Yeah.
when you're doing a routine, you got to keep that boom up. You can't taper off. You got to boom.
Yeah, but when I'm doing a 10-minute set, only like 7 or 8 of it is in my Hollywood voice. So
That's amazing. That's not his original name. I don't know if you realize this.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, his real name is Hollywood Land.
Hollywood Land.
Shortened it.
Oh, Johnny. Yep. So it's good. So anyway, so where we go with that? So I had another puppy. I got Smokey the Dragon. He's my newest. He's the New Jersey spokesperson for the legal marijuana. So
Oh, nice.
Ah,
he'll be doing reporting on that. Actually, I heard he
interesting.
found some pot down the flea market that was for sale. So he's going to do a report on that this weekend. I think he's
Okay.
going to go back down there. Smokey the Dragon.
For our
Yeah.
viewers
Cool.
who are not aware, New Jersey has legalized marijuana, although I don't know the specifics of it. And they're talking like, it could be a year until distribution. I had a friend who had a license, and at the time there was only one or two dispensaries in the entire state.
Mhm.
So it was like, impossible to get.
Yeah, but now they're all over and dispensaries are all over and the prices are dropping in dispensaries. And like I said, when I went down to flea market, I looked and I said, is that buds in a bag? And then I went down a little further and there's jars stacked on top of each other. I said, "You selling pot here?" It's like, yeah, I guess so. So yeah, it's legal. So, if they got the license to sell, so anyway, long time coming. It was stupid anyway, archaic, a lot of work for the cops, unnecessary work for the cops,
Yeah.
but
No, I
Yeah.
never did. I never did smoke pot myself. I was always afraid of getting the munchies.
You
and
were
then
well
you go up
prepared
like
for them,
balloon, it's this
Tom.
balloon. But yeah, I'm like Dick Cavett said, I smoke, but I don't inhale. So
No, who was that? It wasn't
Dick
Dick
Cavett
Cavett.
said that.
It
Dick
was
Cavett.
was it
What?
no wait, I was it Dick Cavett?
Yeah, Dick Cavett said it.
I thought it was some famous politician and he was mocked for it. Like, but it wasn't. Maybe it was Bill
Oh, it
Clinton.
was Clinton. You're thinking of Clinton.
And then Obama later said, "I inhaled." I thought that was the whole idea.
Uh, it's just so. But anyway, so yeah, that's it. So he's the new spokesperson for New Jersey's marijuana. So he'll be doing a report this weekend at the flea market
I love it.
about it. So Smokey the Dragon.
Now, for our viewers and listeners that aren't familiar with your venue at the station, tell us about that.
Okay, the station. Like I said, we all want to get stage time, and I was tired of begging for spots. So Patty drugged me around. We got to about 30, 40 places, told us to get lost. And then the station was the third place we did that stuck. And it's been going on, so it's going to be 8 years soon.
Wow.
8 years. 7
How
years.
many shows had you done there?
300, when 302 before the COVID hit.
Wow.
COVID hit, and that was, shut it down. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. It's every week, and I'm saying I got to take a break. I got to take the summer off. Careful what you wish for.
I can't tell you. My girlfriend is very close to you, like 10 minutes away, and it just got to be. I was taking care of my 97-year-old dad when he passed away. But and he was getting worse and worse. Every time I drove past the station, I'd think of you and wish I had the time. But I had to decide between doing comedy or seeing my girlfriend the one night a week I could get away.
Oh yeah,
free.
so
So
God forbid. And then if you got married, you'd hear that the rest of your life. Remember when you went to the station and you didn't come see me? You'd hear that one 30 years from now. Your last breath. You didn't come see me.
I'm going to remember that, Mike. I've been with her for 5 years, so you never know what the future holds.
There you go.
30 years from now.
So the station just blossomed. It's just the only deal we had. Comics ate free, and it was like Kevin Israel put it best. It's called like a pro open mic, because the only requirement I had is that you've done shows.
Right.
Whether paid or not, but you've done shows. Not open micers, but you've done shows. So everybody on there has done it a few years.
Right.
A couple of years. Been up there, exposed themselves on stage. And all that. So
Well, you always put on a great show, and I got to meet a lot of comics.
Oh, it's great. The
that
people
way.
I met, and then the people started coming down. Julia Scotti, Don Jameson, Ted Dan. The list just went on and on and on and on and on. People showing up.
Yeah.
And the thing is what's really weird is we have a great time.
Oh, it's always a good time.
It never has that. Like when I go into New York and do a gig, everybody's sitting there, oh, you do your thing. Yeah, good job. Go home. Nobody wants to talk to each other. And it's like a competition thing. You get here, it's just like a party.
Yeah, everybody gets
comedy.
along. There's no
I was going
competition.
to say the first time I went there, that was one of the, I remember I met Jose Angel Diaz there the first time.
Yeah,
And he just always has struck me as very happy no matter what. I don't
yeah.
know why, but and it seemed wrong for a comedian to always be happy, but I liked him anyway. But
You
I
feel
just
it's
remember
phony,
there was
right?
like I could feel this like clickingness, and it feels a lot like there's a club up by me that's run by Pat Grion. Um,
Yeah,
he
Pat.
does a
Yeah.
lot of shows at Tierney's.
Hmm.
A very similar camaraderie among the comics doing the shows, and it's a great place to try material and have fun. And
Every time I had to stick my head outside the door and tell the comics to shut up because they were laughing so hard outside the show. You guys
I
shut
said I was sorry.
up. I go out there, there's beer bottles and dollar bills thrown all over. It's like, what the? I just love it that we have a great time. We have a blast. It's just like,
And you have a loyal following with the audience
yeah,
member.
yeah. And that George just comes by and Kathy Pirelli and a few others. Concussions help make me forget a bunch of names, but
there are some very few diehard comedy fans in New Jersey. And I know Annette is one, and Tom and I have a friend named Bill who's another one.
Bill and Nancy Aronson. There's Ellen Freed from
And
out of
Jack got into this
Atlantic
because he
City.
loves comedy.
Yeah, Jack Hoffman. He was
Jack Hoffman loves comedy. Yeah.
But
So-
before he
but-
became a
but the-
producer. He was my bringer. He was one of my bringers.
But these are people that live for comedy. They don't do comedy, but they live for
They
it. and
love to
they
listen,
love it.
critique,
It's
act.
they'd be having their football team or whatever. They don't. They have comedy.
And it's good to have them because, when they come to the shows, I can always say, "How was the show?" "Oh my God, that was the best one you had." So, "Oh my God, this was great." It's just like, I love to hear that. And it's where people can try new stuff too. Like Julia Scotti came in before she went on, I think, America's Got Talent. Same jokes you heard at the station, she told there. And then when she came back, she, what the hell did they do? She brought her notes up there. So I said, "Of course you bring your notes up there." I said, "Tell that joke, and if you screw it up, back it up and tell it again. That's what we're here for, and the closeness with the audience, like everybody just loves it. Everybody,
Yeah.
and it's a free show, so you didn't spend $100. If you spend $100, you ate like a pig and drank like a pig on yourself. But you don't want to spend like $30 to get in someplace and then the show sucks. Because I saw two big guys. I saw two major headliners that I waited. Oh my God, if they ever come to the Stress Factory, I'm going to go see them. And both times I was hugely disappointed. Huge.
Really?
One, I walked out, and the other is just like, I was just so
And
disappointed.
that's another thing I supply the comedy fans. Instead of spending that kind of money and being disappointed, they can see me for like, $2.
And be equally
And
disappointed.
naked. But no, it's a good time, and I love what it turned into, what it morphed into. Base guys looking for stage time, and then it turned out to me just getting up there. "Okay, here's the show. Shut up,
Yeah.
Mike. Get off the stage."
So
And the food is good.
one of the things, and you deserve credit because the host holds the show together no matter. And I've been there on nights where comedians just like got into a fight with the audience within 5 seconds. I'm like, wow, how talented
my
is that person?
One time I got called in. "You better get in here." I forget who was having an argument with the audience and fighting.
All I know is there was one comic, I went up after him, and he went after a very, very large woman wearing a red and white dress. And he said, "What did you like? Take the tablecloth and cut a hole in it?" He went after her outfit. She was sitting next to the only black man in the room who was about 6'8" and 400 pounds. And I'm like, I'm going to see a death here tonight.
Yeah. So, and funny stuff has happened. Like Ken Krantz was there, and then he was making fun of this old lady or something like that. He said something about her age, and she stood up with a butter knife in her hand and pointed it at him. I said, "Ken, I got your back. I have a camera right here. I'm going to tape the whole thing." But no, it's good. Like I said, the bonding with the audience is great. You know, they feel like they're part of the show where they don't speak up. You know, you always get the guys who wanted to be a comic and they try to throw something funny out there, things like that.
Right.
But generally it's just really great. You know, and I just can't wait for it to start again because we're going to go right back into what we were doing. I'm
Right.
getting, you know, message from real big comics like, hey, when's the station going to open? You know, they want to try new stuff. And this is where you do it. You have an audience, you got 30, 40 people there. It's a nice little room. The atmosphere is great. And then, you know, they try out their jokes. And I had Don Jameson sitting there and go, how was that? Yeah, it sucked. He takes it and he throws it in the air and everybody starts cracking up and they're all throwing it in the air. Says, wait, I can use that. And he goes back and gets the card and picks it up. It's just like hysterical. It's just a fun time, you know?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of connections. I made a lot of great people, a lot of funny comics. And then, you know what it is? We're hanging out with funny people. You know, when you're there outside, you know, you're talking to generally funny people, you know, so it's all,
Right.
you know, our own demented kind.
I've had a lot of good
The
times.
weirdo tables outside.
I've had a lot of good times there, and wonderful roast beef club.
Yes. The food is great too. The
Yeah,
food is
that's
great.
for sure.
I had one lady, the drinks too. This one lady goes, somebody's, I think it was Randy Lupo saying how great the food is and drinks. And one lady holds up this glass of wine. Look at this. This thing's full, this goblet. $8. I bought it at that blah, blah, and I got this much. You know? Well, you aren't wasted, are you? But no, it's good. It's good. You get a good deal. You spend the money on
It's
yourself.
a very nice atmosphere, and the people that are there, it's easy to get to, free parking as opposed to, you know, I like performing in New York, but it is such a pain in the butt to get
Yeah.
there. If it's
Oh, I'll never
and
turn down
going
a
by
gig, but
train
it's
or
like-
driving, you're for you, it's another 45 minutes or so, but you know.
Yeah, well, I spent first 2.5 years of my comedy in New York. You know, I started out, you know, Joe Matarese at Stress Factory, and then I went with him to New York. He drugged me into New York, and we did some stuff there. And he drugged me around to meet, you know, Jim Florentine, all the guys that he knew. And then I took classes at the Comedy Cellar with Rick Chrome, and that was huge. And met a whole shitload of people there, you know, because the Comedy Cellar is where they all go hang out.
Right.
And you know, and I used to go into New York every day, every open mics,
Wow.
3 open mics a night. You know, just because I was started so late, I just had to immerse myself in it, you know.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, it's just every night doing the open mics and all that crap like that. So
I actually toyed with like living there because I was envious of the comics that could do, you know, 5 shows a night. And you can almost make a living, and then I thought you can almost make a living, but no, you can't. You're,
No.
you're doing that. You're making $150 if you're lucky.
oh, they're running. You see them. They close their set and they run. They run down the street to the next place. You know, get
Yeah.
And they're living, and if they're living in New York, they're you know, they're I don't know if they're breaking even, but I don't know what they're doing, but they're hardly eating.
Well, you're trying to get discovered like everybody else. You know, you actresses and you know the waiting tables, you know, things like that. You know, you just try to survive in New York.
That's why I tell Tom we need to come up with some gig. Like there was you remember the angry bagel shop owner that like attacked one of his
Yeah.
customers in a bagel tirade, and the next thing you know, he's booked at every comedy club in New York. I don't know why. So I'm
It's
like,
like-
Tom and I, we need to do something.
Well,
We'll
I'd
see.
rather stay out of the news if that helps.
Well,
We could no,
sorry.
you want to get into the news, Tom. You just don't want to do it in a way that you're, you know, humiliates. But really, the way to get into the news is you got to do something like stupid or humiliating, or, you know, like rob a bank but leave your license plate.
You
something
know,
like-
it's a combination of talent and luck and timing.
Yeah.
You know, to compare it to football, when you have an undefeated season, you weren't just great and you breezed through the season. No, you had a lot of lucky shit happened. You know, like, oh God, we're gonna lose. It's 30 seconds
Mike,
left. All of
I'm
a sudden,
sorry.
somebody- what?
I don't believe in luck. I think you put together fatness
Yeah,
and
it's a
old
circumstance.
Jew. That's a formula for success.
Yeah, but I'm saying like things happen that out of the blue. You know, and like I said, you're losing. There's a minute left in the game. All of a sudden, somebody drops the ball. Your guy picks up, runs for a touchdown. You win the game. You're like, holy shit! You know, it's just like that wasn't planned. It wasn't, you know, an act of God. It's just it takes a little bit of everything. You know, you had the talent, you had the luck, you had
Yeah, I believe that.
chance, you know, so.
You know, I performed one night wearing a B cup bra, and I thought it wasn't, if I had gone with a D.
Always second guess yourself. Should I wear the pink tutu or the blue tutu?
Listen, I'm a 38-40. I think I could have held it, you know? But and I was being demure. I was, you know, I'm dressed up like a woman. Why am I trying to be demure about it? People knew I was a man, probably, right, Tom? I wasn't that good looking a woman, was I?
It's not so clear sometimes.
But you know,
Thank
they're
you.
gonna, hey, that
Thank you,
guy with the
honey.
bra. Why do you think I wear that stupid Mike shirt and the M hat? I started so late. I can't establish now. I gotta have a shtick. They don't remember Mike Bonner. They remember that old guy with the red hat and Mike shirt. You
Right.
know, so you got to get a
Speaking of
shtick.
hats, what is your hat? I can't read it.
This one, Homeland Security.
Okay, that's your son. Okay.
My son, Homeland Security hat. Yeah,
And where did you
we
say
don't
he
have
is
now,
now?
but what's that?
Where did you say he was
Oh,
working?
he's in New York now. He's with Homeland Security. He
Okay.
was with ICE, but that was getting so dangerous, ICE, because I said pretty soon, you know, this whole thing of ripping kids out of arms of parent, that did not happen. You know, that was all horse crap. You know, and I know my son, plus I know other ICE agents. You know, I coached probably 1,000 kids, and a lot of them become law enforcement, FBI, things like that, because they want to rid the streets of guys like me. But
Taught him
you know,
well.
and this is all bullshit.
Get out of the shower, Coach Mike.
Don't start that rumor. Foolish kid. But you know that, and that's all horse crap. So what happened is when ICE is immigration criminal enforcement, and what they're doing is they're taking guys. They get a call from like El Salvador or Guatemala. Hey, this guy is a double homicide, and we suspect he's in your area. You know, and they'll find this guy and they dig him out, and there's people screaming at him, leave him alone, he's a good guy. Yeah, but he just killed 2 people in El Salvador. You know, but oh, he hasn't, you know, he's a Mason here and he's led a good life for 5 years and blah, blah. Yeah, but he still blew 2 people away in another country, you know. So, and they remove criminals. That's the whole thing. You're chasing gangbangers. You know, they're chasing down gang. You know, if you take away ICE, we're in trouble. Gangs are all over the place. People don't realize gangs are everywhere. The Mexican gangs, MS-13. But my son, I was educated about it. They are everywhere. You know, you'll see the tattoos, you see the chicken hawk head haircuts, things like that. I was walking down the flea market. I'm walking with his ICE hat on, and I got you know, a few people, Mexicans walking this way, five kids, you know, I guess in their early 20s, and one looks up at me and spits like 5 feet in front of me on the ground.
Wow.
I was like, you. No, it's just like, give me a break. But you know, the whole ICE got a bad rap. You know, just say they're bad people. Like I seen some of the removals of people are screaming at them and all this stuff. And like I said, I told them get out of ICE because these guys are going to start shooting their way out. You know, and sure as hell that happened like a week
All of
later.
that work is it's very, very dangerous, and you never know who you're going to be involved with. I went scuba diving. My scuba diving buddy on a vacation of mine years ago was a cop in Bayonne. And I'd never thought of it from a cop's point of view, but he'd say, you pull over a grandma for, speeding on a highway. You have no idea if she has a gun or drugs in the car or whatever. So you're always on edge. You go to a domestic violence, you knock on the door. You have no idea if the guy has a machine gun and is going to shoot through the door.
Domestic violence is the worst call to answer, you know. So it's just my son is a trooper, Taylor. He's a detective now, so he's off the road, which is I'm really happy about because his mom thought he was in shootouts every day. So, but then my son, the other one's in Homeland Security, so he's doing a lot of investigation stuff. So
listen, if your son, the detective, ever needs help, you can tell him I've seen every episode of Monk and Columbo at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I tried that. You need help? No, Dad. No, Dad. Doesn't work like that, Dad. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I have no idea. I spent all my life running away from police, and then all of a sudden they were living with me. So I don't know how the hell that happened. So we've got to rid the streets of guys like that. But yeah, and then my daughter, she's doing real good. She's with J&J. She's a big wig in J&J. So you know,
Nice.
yep.
I did
I
some
wasn't gonna
work
let
for
them turn out like
J&J.
me. Oh, no, you don't.
I used to work for J&J. I taught business writing and presentation skills. I worked for J&J. I worked for the Marines. I trained Marines, like captains and colonels, how to write more
How to write.
effectively at Quantico. Yeah, we had to stop every 5 minutes because of the flights of planes
Yes.
flying overhead.
Flying over, yeah. Yep.
It was
Yeah.
that was wonderful. And I was surprised they let me in. I'm like, I didn't say like, did you guys do a security check on me? Like,
No, you look harmless.
I know.
So anyway, yeah, that's it. So the station's been going good, and we're gonna open up as soon as this Phil Murphy cuts the crap and opens up New Jersey. So you know, and Bill
Have
still
you
has
gotten your vaccine, Mike?
no, I haven't. You know, I had cancer and all that, so I'm still on the bottom of the list. So anyway, I'd like to wait for the Johnson Johnson.
Because of that. Because
Yeah,
they want
they're like, you're over 65, you're eligible. I said, okay. So I just carbon dated myself. So you're over 65, and then if you have any of these conditions, cancer, I said, yeah, okay, they'll put me up the list. Okay, we'll let you know in a few months.
Yeah, really.
So
an
so yeah,
abundance
so
of
whenever.
caution. So
It's
you
just
need
like,
to be particularly careful anyway. But
It-
Mike, we're glad you're with us.
yes, duck cancer, duck COVID. So knock on wood. So yeah.
Nice. Now, before we run out of time completely, do you have anything to plug? Anything coming up?
Nope, just that is, just trying to get my other things going. Writing, I wrote 137 jokes, and I maybe have one that's maybe good. So I'm doing good. So that's good.
I
So
love it.
I got a lot of
Probably-
material.
That's probably very good odds if you really examine
Yeah.
it carefully. But I think there are many comedians that think it's more like 90% when it's not. But
Oh yeah, so Jimmy Fallon said, you write 100 jokes. I hope maybe you get 2 good ones out of it. Maybe.
10-20%. Yep.
so
Yeah.
my secret, Mike, is I don't even bother with the jokes anymore. It's the bomb lines. That's where the action is.
Well, I do that a lot. Why do you think I throw on a tutu? You got to laugh at a guy in a tutu.
I remember I didn't really have any bomb lines, but I remember one audience did not react to something that always gets a laugh. You've got material that always hits, and it didn't hit.
Your
And
money joke. It's your money joke. Yeah, that
Right.
always hits. And sometimes it lands flat and you're like, wait. Or sometimes they laugh at stuff like, that's not funny. What the hell are you laughing at?
I've had to lecture an audience. I remember one show at Greenwich Village. I said, you gotta don't laugh when I'm in the middle. Let me get to the funny part. And somebody laughed. And I'm
Shut
like,
up, people.
That's a good
We think this is a
example.
comedy show.
Well, the first laugh I get in my act, I'll always say, please don't laugh. It throws me off. I'm not used to it.
Hey, whose line should that be, Tom?
No, it's all good. We're happy we're here. We're happy we're doing it. It's just like I said, I wanted to do it all my life, but just had no idea how to start and thought of the ship had sailed. And I'm here.
And now
Little
you
late,
don't have any idea
with
how
the
to
help.
stop.
Yeah, so it just don't. Well, who the hell was it? Melvin George told me in the beginning, just don't stop, don't take a break, don't stop. Just keep at it, keep at
And
it.
did you ever want to hunt him down and slap him up the head a little bit? And
Yeah.
what kind of advice is that? I'm not Melvin George.
Oh, I
You're
keyed his
Melvin
car.
George.
I keyed his car, so that's thanks, Melvin. On his car, I wrote with a K.
So, Mike, who are your comedy influences?
It has to go way back because like my mom was a funny person in the family. She went through tragic bullshit. So growing up, so she was always go join the Princeton Boys Choir. Mom, I can't sing. Okay, go on stage. Mom, I can't act. And she was always trying to push me into that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And, so she was my big humor influence, and she always buy me comedy albums. She bought me Bill Cosby, the 8:15, 10:15 album show. And then when I had moved back home from New York. My friends pulled out this Richard Pryor album, and they knew I was always clowning around. I was pretty funny, horsing around. You know, I always like to make people laugh. They said, "You got to listen to this guy." So we listened. We went down. You know, we herbed up and we listened to Richard Pryor, and it's like opened up a whole new world for me. I used to do Richard Pryor imitations on the Oaks. You know, and there's 8 guys in an all-black football, white guys in an all-black football team, and I'm doing Richard Pryor imitations, and everybody's cracking up hysterically. And that was a big influence to me,
You
Richard
remind
Pryor.
me of listening to Bob Newhart albums.
Well, back then, my older influences are like that, you know, and Steve Martin with the props and stuff like that. So this where I picked up a lot of prop stuff that makes it funny. But my, you know, like Lucille Ball, Joan Rivers, all that, Bob Newhart, all those guys, Rodney Dangerfield. And my mother, when she was younger, all of a sudden she starts laying all these, when I got older, when she was younger, she lays all these stories on me like, oh yeah, I saw Rodney Dangerfield when I was in Newark, you know, when she was younger and shit like that. And I saw when they were just starting out. And, you know, Riggles, and she goes, oh, he's so filthy. I said, they curse? Oh my God, they're filthy. You know, and you never see this because they're on TV and they couldn't curse. She'd be like, oh my God. And she saw them when they were just starting out and stuff like that. And she'd always tell this one, the life story of Lucille Ball, and this one and that one, you know, and that was kind of like my influence. Always bathing me in comedy and all those early comics, you know, Mom's Mapley, things like that. You know, those are my comics, you know, and Hee Haw, all those guys. So, so that's, you know, kind of my influence there. No big real star, but comedy in general.
You know, thinking back, I remember Pat Cooper was big in my family's house.
Yep. Yep.
The 70s.
Yeah. And Jack, what was it? Jack Parr who had it before Johnny Carson? Was that right? Yeah, he was kind of funny, and Johnny Carson took over and things like that. You know, it's just, you know. Anyway.
And the old actors, you know, the Marx Brothers, Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy.
All that, you know, I used to watch the Three Stooges and all their slapstick stupid stuff, you know, endless Three Stooges. All the girls hate Three Stooges. All the guys love Three Stooges, you know, and our gang and all that stuff. You know, I think of all the black and whites and things like that. You know, I grew up on that. So it's, you know, the older comics, you know. And then like my influence now are like Brad Upton, stuff like that. Guys that are up there in years, been doing 30 years, they're still kicking ass. You know, I just love that, you know. So, you know, it's good for me. You only got an arrow time. You got to pull down your shirt. You only got an arrow going on.
I'm up there in
pull down your shirt. Don't say what you're with. Anyway.
I wanted to say I'm up there in years, Mike, and I once kicked somebody's ass in 6th grade.
Was that you?
Yeah. No, I'm not a fighter. I throw shit and run. I'll throw a chair and run.
I'm against all kinds of physical violence. I'm against. In fact, I once opened up a shelter for battered shrimp.
Don't laugh at that, Mike. I've been with him.
You're encouraging him.
We do this every week for an hour.
Oh shit. That's good. Yeah, Joanne last week. That was good. She's good people. Joanne.
Oh yeah.
She's one of the first comics. Funny story. We did a show in New Brunswick, in a little closet thing for New Brunswick Today or something like that. And outside there's a comic that is also Mike Bonner. He's a black comic, and he's out in Detroit. And, you know, he invited me a few years ago out there and we did a show together. But so they booked me on the show in New Brunswick, and Joanne's on the show with me, and we look outside and there's Mike Bonner, the Black Comics picture on the bill. I was like, and I walk in there and they go, can I help you? I said, yeah, I'm Mike Bonner. And they have this shocked look on their face. Like, I said, what's the matter? I'm too old. He goes, no, we thought it was going to be somebody different. I said, yeah, you're going to get the comics on BET Def Comedy Jam here in this little closet. Yeah, okay. But yeah, that was a funny experience. I got a picture of that.
That is funny.
A picture on the bill and my face there. So it was pretty hysterical. But Joanne was there. She witnessed all that. So anyway, so what else?
What else?
Any other questions? We covered my.
Wait a minute. I wrote something down. Hang on.
My years.
I wanted to ask Tom. Tom, is there anything else I can do for you?
You know what? I don't think we have time
We
for
don't, Tom.
what I had in mind.
Oh, but let me give you a quick shout out.
Please.
Al Roker and I forget who else. Oh Christ, left my mind. Too many footballs. But guys, public service announcement real quick. When you get a blood test, get your PSA checked because I had prostate cancer. Would have never known I had it. And by the time I found out I had it, it would have killed me. But I was taking my blood test and seeing these PSA numbers jump up and jump up and jump up. And they kept stalling until like it was ready to run all over my body. So, and I wouldn't be here right now. So if you don't get your numbers checked, so you don't want to die being stupid. I mean, we lost a couple comics to prostate cancer, and lost the name right now, but I want to wish him well, speedy recovery. He just got, I believe he's getting a surgery this week, but that's when you don't want to die being stupid. Get your PSA number checked, you get a blood test, you get those numbers, get a baseline, and once you hit 30, 40, start looking. Because that's something that's by the time you discover it, it's too late. Because I thought I would just had a pulled muscle in my butt. It felt like something I strained in one of my butt muscles, and what it was the cancer was growing and pushing everything aside.
Wow.
So you wouldn't know it unless you got those things checked. So on the serious side, guys, save yourself. Don't die being stupid because that's what we do best, being stupid. So
I even have the clothes to prove it.
And for our comics listening, if any of you are diagnosed with something requiring a surgical procedure, I do offer surgeries for $129.
No, you just like giving the prostate exams.
Bring your own. Bring your own.
I know you,
anesthetic.
Doug.
Mike, I was about to, and then I thought, yeah, I don't. That's one thing. No, I'll pass on that one.
Oh, Vinny Mark. I'm sorry, Vinny Mark. So I don't know when he's getting his surgery, but I wish him luck and a speedy recovery. He just got diagnosed. So, like I said, there's not enough awareness on it. Before COVID hit, I was coordinating with Robert Wood Johnson Cancer Center. We were going to do 10 days in a tutu, and I was going to visit sites in New Jersey and have my picture taken with tutu, do 10 days in a tutu for fundraising, but COVID wiped that out. So this summer, hopefully we'll give it another shot and raise prostate cancer awareness so we don't lose any more guys,
Right.
like breast cancer awareness. That, I lost my mother to breast cancer because nobody knew anything about it. Let's just cut it out and cut it out and cut it out, and that's, we learned a lot more about it. Now it's, we can attack that disease. And that's
Right.
what we gotta do with prostate cancer with men, because it's killing men. And, it's a weird thing to talk about. Men don't talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
talk about that, especially your father. Try to have a conversation with your father about prostate. Dad, the stuff that shoots your DNA all over the place. Yeah, okay. That conversation got real uncomfortable real fast, So anyway, so that's my public service
No,
announcement to
that's
everybody.
good, Mike. Thank you.
But anyway,
And maybe I hope you change somebody's mind and saved a life.
you want a free prostate exam? Call Doug. Usually let my wife do it, but my
And
doctor
on
did.
that
I
note,
didn't like when
before
he
we
kissed me on the
sign
back of the
off,
neck.
even though it's COVID and nobody is doing comedy anywhere, we need about 10 or 20 minutes for Tom to tell us where he'll be performing.
Oh, stop. It's not, I don't have that. Well, I do have some gigs. I have to say. I'm going to be doing a new venue in Paramus. I have to look at my notes here. Saturday, March 20th, I'm going to be at the Orange Lantern in Paramus. The headliner is Rich Carucci, and I'll be on.
I like Rich. Rich is a funny guy.
Rich is a funny
He
guy.
is.
And then Tuesday, March 23rd, I'm going to be down in Magnolia, New Jersey at the Laughing Fox. I'll be there with Steve Rinaldi.
Yep.
Where the hell's laughing? Where the hell's Magnolia?
Whose
Magnolia.
name I
My
remember.
old girlfriend.
Steve
It's south
Rinaldi
of
was
Cherry
on our
Hill.
show.
It's
Wonderful
way out
guest.
there. Way out there.
Is it
And then,
crazy? Go ahead.
Yeah, Friday, March 26th, I'm going to be at the Lorita Winery in New Egypt, New Jersey. That's kind of near where I live. And Helene Angley is going to be the headliner there.
You say you just did a show with her, right?
What's that?
You just do a show with her. Helene Angley, she's funny. She's
He is funny. Yep. Yeah, and then I'm going to be at the Comedy Cove in Springfield, New Jersey, Friday and Saturday, April 9th and 10th, opening for Doug Carp.
Doug's a
Not-
funny guy too.
not Doug
Doug's a
Max.
real funny guy. He's hilarious. And yeah, he's real funny. I
Yeah.
like I
Not
like
Doug
Doug.
Max,
Doug used
though.
to run an open mic in Springfield.
Milburn.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Millburn, Springfield border. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember way back then.
McGlynn's.
It was like my first open mics. I was always shell shocked when they caught the stage. Doug would talk to me. I'd be like, "What? You know, but don't do that." So, no, Doug's a funny guy. No, he's a real funny guy.
We
No,
told a
I
funny
did a show with
story
him in
about Doug
Somerville,
last
and it was hysterical.
Yeah.
We told this funny story about Doug last show, and unfortunately, he might have actually listened to the show and heard that story and might not have thought it was so funny. So if he's happened to listen again, Doug, I'm very sorry. Tom told me to tell that story.
Blame it on Tom. Throw Tom
Take it
under
up
the
with Tom. You got a problem, Doug Harp? You take it up with my friend Tom.
But Doug's funny as shit. It's just like, but
I remember Doug from the roast of Gene Nagel at the Comedy Cove. And Doug came up with like a tray of 8 or 10 martinis, you know, like Gene, they were all water, but he was better drunk than somebody Brooks. What's his
Foster
name?
Brooks.
Foster Brooks. Oh my God, Foster Brooks.
Doug was such a good
another
drunk. And
guy.
I'm like, oh my God, you're a comic and you're making fun of the guy that books the club. Are you an idiot? And I was on the dais, and I'm like, you know, I was only in comedy a couple years, and I was like amazed at how brave this guy was.
Uh-huh.
You know, although he was a cop and he could take care of himself. So
Yeah. Always get behind the guy who has the gun. Fight breaks out, rush the stage. I'm getting behind Doug. He got a gun. But no, he's hysterical, you know. But
I wanted to share something to the folks that are listening about getting older.
not for sissies, that's for sure.
I actually I got all excited because Amazon delivered my compression socks. That's sad.
Don't worry, you'll be out there
Tom,
soon.
I think we should devote a segment every episode to what compression item came in the mail for you.
I'm getting a compression hat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
that's not
So anyway,
terribly funny, but
Mike-
it was kind of funny.
Mike, thanks again for coming on the show. You're
Thank
a
you, guys.
wonderful guest and
Thank
a
you.
good friend, and I'm glad I saw you. You know, got to see each other again.
Yes.
And looking forward to the station opening up again. And give us the address of the station so people can find it.
Okay, they have a Facebook page, Station Bar and Grill. It's in Cranberry, New Jersey, Highway 130, 2625 Route 130 South in Cranberry, New Jersey. And when we start again, it's going to be every Saturday now. It used to be every Friday, but Saturdays opened up. And that's the kicker of this thing too. I switched to Saturdays. Saturdays became available, so I switched the show to Saturdays. And we were always getting like 20, 30. Sometimes we get lucky, get a 40 people in the show, stuff like that. First 2 Saturdays were 40 people and 42 people.
Nice.
Saturday's today, so we're excited to get.
People are still recovering from the week, and you know, Saturday it's let's get out and have fun.
Right, Friday at the hurry up, get home, shower. You know, I took Friday because
Yeah.
that's what I could get. So, and then now I get Saturday. So I know the owner good, and so it's we're going to year number 8. So
That's really
we'll
great.
go to 400 shows. So
Awesome.
Mike, when
I'm looking
you
forward to it.
when
Thank
you
you
get a
guys so
date-
much for having me on.
when you get
Thanks
a
for
date
being on.
and go live, please let us know.
Oh, yeah.
We'll make a note of it on our Facebook page and mention it on the show.
Yep. And Bobby Gaines, I'm going to give a shout out to Bobby Gaines because he's doing a lot of promotion of everybody in their shows. Bobby, love you.
Yep.
And he's doing a lot of promotion. He's got the comedy Facebook page. Can't remember right now because I'm old. I can't remember shit.
Yeah, we love
But,
Bobby. I
but,
hate Gerald
love
Benford.
Bobby.
Bobby Gaines, we love.
We went through so many stupid open mics together too. It's back, all these guys you struggle with the open mics with,
Yeah.
stupid.
I
Piano.
remember Bobby at the first open mic I met him.
Yeah.
Also, another guy that just seemed happy.
Yep. Always, it's just those guys.
He's
who walk
had
in, oh,
stuff
good
go
to
on
see.
in his life too. Not
Yeah. Horrible shit. but we power through it.
Anyway,
Anyway.
but Gerald Benford, if you're listening, yeah, no, we're not going to have you on
Love
the show
Gerald.
again after what you did. After
What do
what
you
you
do
did,
now? What did he do now?
he
Gerald!
was trying to promote his new business on our show for Negro Cream.
Would you stop? Don't listen to him.
Gerald's a nut.
That's what he
He's a
said on our
terrific
show.
nut.
I'm like, Gerald, what are you? We're family friendly. I didn't say a bad word. It's come on. I love him.
I love him.
Gerald, if you're listening, it cracked me up, but
We were doing open mics together a long time ago, and I said, man, you got the voice, you got all this stuff. I said, because I think he started and stopped and was wishy-washy. I said, don't stop, man. You got the voice, you got everything going on out there. And I love guys that take the ball and run with it. You know? I mean, he's one of those guys. So
Speaking of running with it,
I dropped the ball and I keep kicking it as I bend down to go get it. So
and on
before we break, I just wanted to mention one more time our sponsor, Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions.
Hey,
Jack, contact him at jack@jirwinproductions.com.
Yep.
That's
Good man,
right.
Jack.
So this has been Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max and Bonner.
Yay. Great. So thank you very much for having me on, guys. Had a great time. Thank you very much.
Mike,
Love
thank
talking,
you.
love talking comedy again. And hope to see you soon.
All right.
Be
Until next
safe.
time.
Love you
Take
guys.
care.
See you later.
Bye.